Hello everybody, Greg here from Master Trader. Today I'm going to show you how to create a basic watch list, where to start from. Software can be used in many different ways, and so many of these platforms are so powerful, but how to utilize them to best of the way we want to use them. So I'm going to show you how to start, how we use software for scanning, the platform that we use, and how we come up with ideas for our letters. And we have three letters: a swing trading letter, a weekly options trader letter, which focus on credit spreads expiring in about a week, and ETFs, longer term positions with ETFs. So we're not really concerned with the risk of an individual stock. We're using an ETF, broader perspective, more diverse. And of course, there are rewards and downside to that, meaning if you pick the right stock, it's going to outperform much more. But if you pick the wrong stock and it's in that ETF, you're not going to get clobbered. So in the swing letter, and I'll show you an example of it actually this week's letter, where we go over what happened during the week. And this letter reviewed what happened in intraday. We don't always do that, but I thought it was something important to show this week what happened because it was unusual. We go over weekly time frames in the S&P sectors, daily time frames, what happened within them. And in part, I might show you this, how we utilize this within the letter. What we expect for the following week, a review of a lesson utilizing the Dow. And then there's a pretty long video at the end of each week. This one was about a half hour, as you can see, covering different sectors. And then the crux of what we want to get to in this video: how do we come up with trading ideas? So there are thousands, right? I think probably close to 10,000 different stocks that we can get to. So we have to narrow that down. So there are pullbacks, there's breakdowns, breakouts, and so on, pullbacks. And so lots of different ideas. And while we can go through lists individually, we can narrow things down by even looking for, say, wide range bars or increasing volume. And then do we want to trade those directionally or with a debit spread or maybe even with a credit spread? So let's take a look at that and how we come up with these ideas. So we do it in a few different ways. So we have different scans such as this that focus on individual like breakout bars on a weekly time frame, or topping tails, TT topping tail bars, bearish 180s, maybe pullbacks to a moving average, bottoming tail bar, bullish 180s. And so what I'm going to show you here is how do we come up with the idea of a basic watch list. So we don't want to look at thousands and thousands of stocks, but we want to narrow things down to what we want to focus on. And software can help us do that. So what I created here was a really basic scan, average true range over a certain amount. I don't want things that aren't moving at all. A price history between $8 and $1,000. 30-day average volume about 250,000. And market cap. I don't want micro caps. So we've got to narrow that down, and then looking at, I don't care how big the stock is. So then that narrows things down. As you can see here, 1,070 stocks. Now I could go down and look at 1,000 stocks relatively quickly with this software. But if I want to look for specific things, I can create little scans within the scan. So I can look at what was strong on the day or negative on the day. Is things above or below the opening price? Did it gap? What was the percentage of the gap? What is strong over a week, over 2 weeks? Were there volume spikes? Was there a wide range bar? Did it break out, breakdowns? And so on, even for intraday. Now, as we look at that, let's look at what we have here. Breakdown bars on volume. So you can see the volume here spiked up. So this one shows the volume. Was there a volume spike over the last 3 days? And then today, was there a volume spike? And what we see, this was over 100. And in the last 3 days, there was a spike. And this broke down. What am I going to do with this? Well, it's an idea. It's not something that I can act on in the moment. The gap down was significant. It's gapping down close to 200-day moving average onto support. So while this can direct me to something in the future, it really doesn't tell me anything to do right now. Now, what I could also do with this is, well, since this gap down so negatively, I can see this is in this particular industry. I can sort this by what's in the industry here. I had to scroll down since it's sorted that way, and since it started with E, I can then energy and construction, engineering and construction. Wow, that one held up really well. So this one reported earnings. A3 was reported earnings, and that gap down. So it wasn't an industry-wide negativity. It was specific. This one's a bit extended in doing well. It doesn't report earnings until October. It's not actionable. It's extended. I'm concerned now of a breakout failure, probably because more of what's happening in the markets right now. This one has a nice bottoming tail bar. So this one I'm gonna set an alert above that red bar's high. Maybe that bar would be negated because the markets were down on this day. Maybe it was down that way and it might recover. So that's my thinking there. And it's resting on the rising 20 MA. Let's look for some other ideas. Are there any bullish wide range bars on that day within our list? Not too many. It was probably a negative day. Really not that big of a bar. Bigger on volume, retesting. It's got a lot of overhead resistance, so not that attractive either. This one's moving up. No, that one is a bearish one. Big down bar. Let's sort by what was the strongest. Yeah, so this was the strongest out there. Here we go. Now, consumer cyclicals, auto parts moved up. Earnings are in November. They probably just reported earnings. This is great to put to your watch list since it looks like it's resuming its uptrend over here. It's new all-time highs. I'm just going to throw that in my bullish watch list. A regional bank. Earnings are out, consolidating above the 200. Look to the left. It really doesn't have any resistance. That could move higher. We'll set an alert. Electronic components. That probably gapped up. Maybe on earnings. Strong. I'd have to watch this for a pullback. So here we can find strong stocks. We can find what was the weakest, sorted in the other direction. It's near support. Near support. And leading the way down. Near support. So scans put us in the vicinity of what we're looking for to provide us ideas, but not necessarily action lists. So these really weak ones, we could set alerts up above. Now this one has already pulled back. It's on its 200-day moving average. It's been stabilizing. It could have followed through lower, but what if it takes out the high of that topping tail bar? I'm going to set an alert. If it doesn't trigger this week, no big deal. If it does trigger, I know I found something that's on support. It's on a moving average. It's negated a topping tail bar, and it's got room to go up, and it has stabilized for several days. We'll see what it does. Very weak. Another one. It's not on support, but could it reverse? Set an alert. It costs nothing to set alerts. Anything breaking out. All right, here's a breakout. Closed with a topping tail bar. It's in the trucking sector. It's up quite a bit. Really nothing to do with that. All right, here was strong. Let's set an alert. It's an idea. If it can clear these highs, it's got plenty of room to go up. Specialty retailing. Kind of what we call a 1, 2, 3. Really wouldn't be a textbook one. And we could put 1, 2, 3s in a column here if we wanted to locate those, but I have them in a different layout. But if this can negate that topping tail bar, it's got room to go up. Breakout, an initially failed Victoria's Secret topping tail bar. Maybe it was a victim of the market. Let's set an alert near the high. See if it turns around. Okay. Another breakout. I think that's a long enough consolidation. This one is related to AI. It's been doing really well. It's a little extended. Probably needs a bullish market environment to go higher. I'm going to set an alert up above. And you know what? I'm going to set alert on this down below. Because if this breaks down and this turns out to be a breakout failure, it could be a good idea for short-term call spreads. And even day trading, it may go down since it's extended. So set alert. General Dynamics. Came right back in again. Little breakout failure. You can see how we can find ideas. In the morning, from our list, I can look for what's gapping up. So from here, how would I possibly day trade it? I can certainly swing trade it, but from a day trading perspective, I would drop down and look at a 5-minute chart and see a pattern like this where it gapped up. It gapped above this resistance, wide range bar up, a little pullback here, and it gets going again. So we can generate ideas for day trading. This one just took off here in the afternoon. This one moved higher. Sometimes you have setups that move first thing in the morning. Sometimes they play out in the latter part of the day. You have to take into consideration the market environment, of course. And here, this one gapped up from a consolidation. Didn't provide any opportunities, but the markets on this day ran up and then they failed in the latter part of the day. So we always take into consideration the broader markets, what's happening. The markets right now are going through a corrective process, which we alerted subscribers to back here. Got to start looking out for a correction. And now it's beginning to really play out in full force. And I'll show you one other way that we look for opportunities with another watch list. We look at the broader markets, sectors within the markets, which sector is doing well, and then look at stocks within those sectors, and we can sort them in similar ways as to what's done well, what's done poorly, finding breakouts, breakdowns. A lot of breakouts failed because of the market. Here's one that broke down. That's pretty negative, but it's still overall in an uptrend, but looks like it's going to go lower. Here's how we can use software to create an initial watch list, and now how we can use software to narrow in on specific patterns that we want to look for, finding opportunities. And this is what we present to subscribers of our different letters. I hope that helps you. If you have any questions, email me, Greg@MasterTrader.